Trevor, welcome. How you doing?
What's up?
Well, nothing much, man. What's going on with you?
Not too much. Had a great day. I know we were going to go earlier, but you had to do something.
Hey, I've been waiting since last week to go, baby. I'm good. I'm ready to do this.
This is a
Um,
fun. This is a fun one. This is going to be
yes,
fun.
but my daughter had a wonderful birthday. Thank you for asking.
Number
She
five.
is two. No, she's 2 years old.
I thought she was older.
And yeah, and happy birthday to my daughter Noah because today was her birthday.
Happy
And
birthday, Noah. Hope you
that's
never have
right.
to, hope
That's
you
right.
hope you never have to endure working in a restaurant.
You know what? I want her to work in a restaurant because
1 year. 1 year. At least
I
1 year.
want her to work. I want her to work in a restaurant. I don't care how long she works in a restaurant for, as long as she learns something like deep, profound life lessons that take her far as a result of working in said restaurant. That then I have no problem. Let her, if it's a year, if it's a 2 years, whatever. But I think she will be all the better for working in a restaurant.
Absolutely. Just I think you should stop talking about your daughter working in restaurants for the topic that we have tonight.
Actually, I'm really not concerned because you know what? My daughter is a fearsome little munchkin, and I don't bat an eyelash at that one. She's trouble. She's big trouble. So I shudder. I shudder at I shudder at the possibilities. Let's put it that way.
So episode 8. We're talking about
what are we talking about? What is the topic?
We're talking about relationships.
Oh my god! Oh geez.
Relationships, hooking up, and
oh my god.
The lustfulness of the restaurant world.
My lord, that is a loaded topic right there. I think it's that's synonymous with working in a restaurant is the inevitability. Again, I think predicated on a few factors, of course, but the inevitability of some sort of liaison or entanglement that will occur from working in said restaurant.
Yeah. And I don't know if anybody who's watching this have seen the movie The Waiting. It's quite accurate.
You mean Waiting?
The Waiting, yeah. It's quite accurate with the pretty
The Waiting.
The Waiting. Come on.
The Waiting. Are you sound like a boomer. Yes, the kids, they're watching The Waiting.
Yes, that movie The Waiting with that Dane Cook character.
Yeah.
But in the movie, there's a pretty hostess who's probably underage or just of age. I think she was just underage, but can go either way. And she's attractive, and everyone, including the old creepy manager, hits on her. And how real is that? For me, I've worked in a few restaurants. My sister has worked in restaurants when she was around 19, 20 years old, and she would come, this is when she was living with me, and she'd come home and be like, does everybody just fucking hit on me? I don't get it. I was like, Tori, just so you know, if you're somewhat attractive, you are a piece of whatever you want to call it for the vultures, and I've been into restaurants where okay, those are the people who hang out with over there, and those people just go straight home. Those people go out to eat after. They want to work the same shifts, they take the same vacations, yada yada yada. And when it comes to hooking up, it's definitely frowned upon from the owners to manager standpoint.
Oh yeah,
that's the number one thing to say no. Don't sleep where you work, and no matter what they do, it still happens.
yeah. It's just it's just like they say, death and taxes are two inevitabilities in life. I would add, and people hooking up in restaurants. I've been married for the majority of my time working in restaurants. So that's not really been my personal experience, but I have been surrounded by it. And I've gotten tons of numbers as a server. I mean, tons of them. Always unsolicited, usually written on the back of a check. As a matter of fact, we used to serve an entree or a dessert called the salted caramel cake. And I had like 4 college age girls come into the restaurant, and they had the salted caramel cake, and they changed it from salted caramel cake to salted caramel cock. Sorry, yes, salted caramel cock. They changed the A to an O and then CK, and they did a little winky smiley face and left their phone number.
Yeah.
And of course, I'd always show these things to my wife just to laugh and to let her know, complete transparency and whatnot. But man, I mean, listen, if you're not taken, that is, it's like a open market. Unbelievable.
Yeah. When I was working down in Florida, it was definitely a vacation area and beach town. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So people are there to party, have a good time.
Yep.
What do these kids say, Jeff? Get some strange.
Taming the strange.
I think I'm gonna take on the boomer character for.
Oh, I like that. I think that works for you. It's kind of funny.
But
The Waiting, the kids with that movie, The Waiting.
But
what are they waiting for?
But like you said, as a server or bartender or whatever you are in a restaurant that you're,
right.
Besides maybe a cook where you're face to face with customers, like you're charming people, and to have a interaction for an hour of, what are you doing? What are you drinking? Where are you guys from? How's it going? My name's so-and-so. A little spark goes off. It's like you're forced to have conversation. So therefore, if you're trying to get, a girl's number or they're trying to get a guy's number, the hard part is already done for you by being a customer. And I definitely took advantage of that down there. I took advantage of that when it came to customers. I took advantage of that when it came to coworkers, especially new coworkers, because I'm like a weathered server. I know what's going on. Let me show you the ropes. Oh my God, no, don't do that. That's not how you carry a glass of wine. Let me show you, honey. Here, I'll teach you how to do this.
Honey. Oh, perfect. Trevor is that guy that'd be like, hey, honey, come here.
Yeah, in a different life I was. And the funniest thing too is that the older ladies, they loved me.
I bet.
I was near like Boca Raton, Delray Beach, so that's like snowbird heaven. And
explain for our audience what a snowbird is, and that's really not a test. Like, I know what snowbird means.
Yeah, a snowbird is basically someone that is in New York or the Northeast or wherever they may be for their primary residence for spring, summer, and then they go down there end of fall to winter. You basically stay away from the snow, as a bird would do.
They fly, they migrate like birds.
Yeah, and then one of the best things, and this happened the first time she did it, I was like, "Ooh, this is good." And then she kept doing it, and I was like, "This is getting old." She'd be finishing her older lady, probably in her 70s. She'd be finishing her dinner, and I'd be like, "All right, do you guys want to wrap that up? Their leftover food. You guys want to take that home?" And she'd always go, "As long as you're in the bag with it." What a good one, Marjorie. You got me there.
Yeah, but she's dead. She is dead serious. She is
dead serious.
That is not a joke.
But yeah, I mean, one of my, a few years ago, I live in Boynton Beach, a few minutes from Boca Raton and Delray. Yeah, I lived in Delray for almost 5 years. Used to work on the Avenue down in Delray. If you're in Boynton, I used to go a lot to Two Georges and Banana Boat right in Boynton Beach on the Intercoastal. Good, quick, American food, burger, wings, good drinks and stuff like that. Thank you for listening. But
I've seen a lot of people. Now, what I have seen, I said I've not engaged in it much myself. There were, there were several. Never. I mean, once I was married, I was married. That was it. But when I was not married, it was before I started seeing my who is my now wife. There was like little things here and there, but it never really amounted to much. However, I was surrounded by constant debauchery in two of the restaurants I worked in. Both wound up with conceptions. There were babies that were made from liaisons had by people. You had managers receiving. I'm getting a little blowback from you, Trevor. I think it's up too high on your side of things.
Good.
Yeah, that's better, I think. But yeah, I used to get like just all sorts of weird vibes from people that were, doing stuff. There was a guy, he had a family, and then he met this server, and they were very mismatched. They looked like a very odd couple, let's put it that way. And that turned into a whole Jerry Springer sort of situation. Goes on and on.
Yeah, and like when it comes to the word like politically correct and sexual harassment, like yeah, I could write a list. If you, and I don't mean this in any other way, but like if you are sensitive or can't take a joke or are subject to really like at the end of the day sexual harassment, the restaurant place, it's very, very apparent. It's not like The Office, like, and I'm not saying like, even though this does happen, I'm not saying like people are like smacking asses and, doing cat calls, but at the same time, it's like just under that, you know what I mean? Because like people definitely do get in trouble when it comes to sexual harassment in in the restaurant world. And like, I would be the manager at this one place, and I would see this girl like constantly be getting hit on by the cooks. These guys were savages, absolutely savages. And she stood her own ground. She'd say, "Get the fuck out of here! I wouldn't date you if I wanted to. If you were the last man on earth, fuck you." You know what I mean? Like, that's kind of how you have to be when it comes to that. Or you can just ignore it. A lot of people are just like, "Ugh, okay, thanks, all right, bye," and then like they just ignore it. And when you keep ignoring it, sometimes they eventually stop. That's what I've noticed.
Now, sometimes what happens is you get jokers that will, like, for instance, my friend who will remain nameless, she once got like a $5 tip on like, it must have been like $75, and the guy left his number. And so we just, when we got off work, we just took turns prank calling the guy and confronting him about his crappy tip. And like, there's video of it somewhere, and it's just pretty really funny. We're just really taking this guy to task for just tipping really poorly and then leaving his number for his server. Like, he wasn't even like,
good start, buddy.
Yeah, but it was funny was that like he didn't even like confront her to give her his number. It was like, I don't know, maybe he was embarrassed by the tip he was leaving, but like at the same time, what's funny is that like leaving your number and leaving a bad tip work against each other. Like it's not. It doesn't, like, they're very, what's the word I'm looking for? They're very contradictory things to do. So it's like,
right.
They just don't, like, doesn't really make sense.
Because if he did leave a good tip and the girl was looking for a potential date, she would have kept that to herself and called him potentially. But instead, she said, "Look at this asshole. He left me fucking $2. You guys do what you do," and you guys did exactly what you do, which is great.
She didn't like really even give us permission. She told us what happened. I was like, "Give me that number, please." Yeah, So she gave it to me, but like, it wasn't like she was like, "Here, prank call this guy." But we were like, we just had a lot of fun, just sort of breaking this guy's balls. And it's like, it's like, it's like trying to put out a fire, but like pouring gasoline on a fire, or it would be like trying to start a fire while it's raining. I don't know. so many contradictory ways, analogies for such a boneheaded move, which tells you so much about a person. So that was a real funny incident. I'm trying to think of some specific that we had the, I think it was the sous chef was having sex with one of the servers on the premises during shifts. That was happening
I had
at
one
one
of
of the
those.
restaurants.
They were having
Yeah.
sex in the linen room. That's
Right, something like that.
which is a great spot to do it because comfortability. You know, you have
Yeah,
clean linens, like, and then now they're not. Oh
yeah,
boy, yeah. When they got caught, the owner was like, "Where were they having sex?"
yeah.
Like the linen room. He goes, "Get rid of all of them."
There were and then I've also I've also had managers that were just super creepy towards like hostesses and stuff, and like just, and what's funny is like it was like an open secret, and it was kind of pathetic because this guy was married and he had a child. I think he had another one on the way eventually, and it was just kind of like what, it was just so inappropriate. And it's amazing, it was pre sort of Weinstein, like pre Me Too.
Yeah.
And I feel like post Me Too, had that happened, it would have just been, it wouldn't have been as accepted as the same, which was kind of good about Me Too, is that it really has empowered a lot of people to be like, wow, I can actually speak out about this nonsense. And I'd like to hope that fewer people are getting harassed in restaurants as a result of that Me Too movement, that people are more cautious to be slimy bastards with their actions,
For
but who
sure.
knows?
When I moved back to New York in June 2017, I started working at this very good restaurant in Upper Westchester, and I was single, and I was the assistant general manager there. So it was the general manager, then me, and this whole entire restaurant was hooking up with everybody, left and right. Some had actual relationships, some didn't. And the owner said, "Don't fall into that trap. Don't fall into that trap." And I remember like my first or second week there, I'm sitting at the bar in between lunch and dinner, dead restaurant, and the nighttime bartender came in, and I'm eating a burger on the bar, and I don't have my napkin on my lap. I have it like just to the right of my plate, using it, but just to the right of my plate. That's kind of how like I eat a burger. You know what I mean? I'm constantly wiping my hands. I don't want to, I don't drip on my I don't drip on my lap. So anyways, I'm eating this burger and my napkin is to the right, not on my lap. And this girl bartender comes over to me and she goes, "Put your napkin on your lap." And I'm like, full mouth, like, "What?" She goes, "Ugh, I would never date you." And from then on out, I had a crush on this girl the whole entire time, and we ended up hooking up and dating for 2 years.
Wow.
And at first it was hush hush, because I have a position of authority, and she's the bartender, or whatever, and not a good look on my part. But then as time went on, like the cat was out of the cradle, and it was fine.
The cat was out of the bag, Trevor. The cat was out of the bag.
Cradle.
What are you young kid? Man, I'm sorry I'm being so ageist right now, but you're just like everything you're saying.
Anyways,
Anyways.
so that was that. But like, just from experience, like working with someone, and then like whoever's listening, like this doesn't have to just like be about restaurants. Like I always find that like keeping it professional at the workplace is so much more rewarding than falling into that stigma of talking sexually to a coworker, going on a date, because like there's always after hours like debacle, like drinks after, and like things when you drink, like, things happen, you know what I mean? And I just find like that the last few places I had a girlfriend at the time, and like I had no interest in I mean there was beautiful women all around me, but like I had no interest, and like it made work so much less toxic and so much more like down to business. Um because like what happens when you're hooking up with someone? There's favoritism. Then there's,
Yeah.
um she gets the best sections or he gets the best sections because of this and that, and like that might honestly be true. And then when you don't give them the best sections, your relationship starts going you
Now
know
you're talking. Now you're getting down to the nitty gritty, honest, bare bones truth of it all. Right now.
right, you know and it's just, I don't know, like, would I do it again? Probably, but will I definitely like be a little bit more aware of like, is this right? Is this wrong? Is this the one? Like, no, you know what I mean?
Right.
Thank God, thank God, like, I'm out of the restaurant world, because like it almost like, besides like actually working into the restaurant, like the attraction to lust in the restaurant is the same attraction to being going back to the restaurant, almost like it kind of like goes hand in hand.
It especially if you're interested in like risky kind of situations, that's what makes that stuff very appealing and you know like
Perfect.
risky and appealing.
Yeah, that's like the best way to describe it. Also like, when you're in the restaurant world, what's your life? You know what I mean?
Right.
Your life is with these people. You're constantly with them on a daily
Mhm.
basis. You're spending
Yep.
holidays with them. You're seeing them more than your
Lots of time.
and it makes
Spend
sense.
lots of time.
It makes sense that people, fall into love, lust, whatever you want to call it. And you're also kind of like usually the same personality in my personal experiences too. Fuck this guy. Yeah, fuck this guy. Like, oh, you're the one.
What's also interesting is that it's a very polarizing sort of thing where like either everybody knows what's happening or nobody knows what's happening. Like the situation, there's never anything in between. It's like if people know, then people know,
Yeah.
and if nobody knows, then it's like the tightest kept secret in the world, and
Yeah.
it just there's no in between with that stuff.
Because even when you tell your best friend coworker, he has another best friend coworker. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it gets out. So if you really don't want anybody to know, then the only people that can know are you, them, and the wall, I would suppose. And and then the flip side is that there's someone who just doesn't when they don't care. And I've known people that have met in restaurants, had children, and are now married and have been together for, approaching in some cases approaching at least 5, 6, 7, 8 years now.
Yeah.
And so on one hand you go, oh, like that's a career restaurant hookup, or you could literally say, no, they met. That just happens to be where they met, and that's the person they were destined to be with, and it's not
Yeah.
like a career restaurant hookup. You know what I mean? So
Yeah, once an actual true relationship evolves, that's what it is. You don't say it's you know what I mean? Like,
right.
that's like where like the soft part happens. The soft touch happens. Like, yeah, but they're together and own a house and have 2 children. Like, you can't keep saying like, you know, that was
Yeah,
a restaurant hookup.
a dirty restaurant hookup. And then there was at one restaurant I worked at, there was a female manager who had this was before my time, but it was stories that were told to me. Female manager had the hots for the male bartender and would and she was married to the district manager. So she was married to her boss and the boss for everybody in the region or whatever. But she would like lock up at night. It would just be them. And she would just be like, just going to town on him. We'll put it that way. Going to town on him in the manager's office, stuff like that. You think, oh, that stuff sounds like it's, out of something like from like Brazzers or some X tube, whatever. But it's like, no, that really does happen in restaurants 100%. It goes down. It just goes down in that kind of way. So,
Since I'm a boomer, can you explain what brazzers and X tube are?
Well, Xtube is pornography. Brazzers and Xtube are pornography sites. See, what happened was pornography used to be relegated to just magazines. And then one day,
I remember that.
Yes. And then one day when moving pictures were invented, you see, we used to have still pictures, and then moving pictures got invented. And that's something that's called video.
Disgusting.
And suddenly you see all sorts of nastiness occur. Yeah. Penetration. It's
sin.
It's a phenomenon. So, that stuff can happen. I don't know. What else is there, Trevor? What else is there to discuss with, what about is there, what kind of codes? Is there a code in the restaurant? If someone dates someone and they break up and then someone else gets involved, how does that figure into things and
just
shifts?
Drama.
Just drama, right?
Drama.
Drama.
What I wanted to end on is basically I wouldn't say it really happens more to men. It definitely happens more to women. A hot bartender who's flirtatious, nice, and is basically, hitting on you in a way that is for good service and a tip. And the bar customer in return thinking that they like them.
Oh, that is really awkward.
You know what I mean? Because I've been a bar customer and really, really liked a pretty bartender, and she's been very, very nice to me all throughout until I go you want to go out sometime? Oh no, I'm busy. And it's just wow.
Ouch.
You're fucking good at your job.
Oh, that is really awkward.
Yeah, it happens a lot. I mean, the regulars, a lot of regulars come back for flirtatious bartenders because they think they got a shot. You know what I mean?
Wow. That is.
They also make the most tips too, so good for them.
Yeah, well, I do know. I mean, that's a good point, and I know managers that would, place certain female bartenders behind the bar because they knew that the sales would go up if they were behind the bar, which is kind of crazy when you think about it.
Oh no, absolutely. Female bartenders bring in so much more money than guy bartenders. That's a known statistic.
Right, but it's just amazing how
how it works.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but just that you're literally putting it's putting what in their minds it's I'm going to put this meat on display in order to drive up the sales of this.
100%. I mean, what are you going to do when you walk in hi, how are you? Ooh, good to see you again. What can I have to drink?
I just think it encourages.
Or would you rather have hey, how you doing? Get over here. You want a beer?
I just think that it encourages, it encourages bad behavior is what it encourages. Ultimately, I'm not saying that I understand why it's done, but I think it encourages potential bad behavior, and it also can put for instance, if here's a great example of where this can go awry. I'm not saying it always does, and that's not to say that women are not capable of handling themselves, because they most certainly are. But you definitely have situations out there where you have a manager going, oh, this regular comes in Thursdays for happy hour, and I want them to stay past happy hour. They always take advantage of happy hour. I want them to stay past happy hour and keep drinking. And they're only going to do that if I put this bartender, this really pretty bartender on the shift that's really good at talking to customers, I'll keep her on, and hopefully that'll keep him, going with sales, that kind of thing.
Right.
And this person doesn't know we don't know anything. You don't know anything about regulars, and you don't know what they're capable of, and again, combine that with that bartender just being very good at talking to people, and maybe that regular is picking up on signals that are not there, and you're creating a potentially really disastrous situation, unsafe situation for a female bartender who's got to walk across the parking lot at the end of the night with all of her tips in her purse. It's just not, we had a gate, and the excuse that some of the female servers would get, because they would raise the gate because they just didn't want to pay the toll, which was terrible that they even had to pay it in the first place. And the security guys would go, "Hey, why, you can't raise that gate?" And they would be like, "Oh, okay. Are you going to personally escort me to my car?" You know what I mean? Like, are you personally going to escort me to my car and send me off? No. Okay. Like, this is a dangerous parking lot. I don't know who's lurking in here. That's what they used to always say, which was a little bullshit, but a very valid point,
Yeah. And also, like, with that restaurant that I shouted out in Boynton Beach, primarily all of the wait staff are females, and they wear short shorts and tank tops. And at night, that area isn't great.
Yeah.
And the male managers and male staff would actually walk them to their cars, because more than once a girl, innocent, walking with a few $100s in her pocket gets robbed, because they know, okay, server leaving work, going to a car, therefore money. You know what I mean? Like, it's easy prey.
Which is why I think that it can be, it's kind of scummy and a little almost, I can understand how it's good for business, but I also think it's kind of scummy to do that to female bartenders, to why are you putting them in this? You're putting them in this situation because you want your sales to be higher. And in their minds, they're like, "Oh, well, I'm doing this person a favor because they're going to make more money as a result of me doing this." And, but they're not thinking about the well-being and the comfortability of that person in that place.
In my opinion, male, female, transgender, whatever you are, you hire the best person for the job, no matter what. That's how it should be.
But I don't even think that's the issue per se. It's just more the issue of, like, you're not thinking about your servers, what's it called? Well-being.
Yeah.
By, potentially putting them at the mercy of
your restaurant sales. Yeah.
No, yeah. Really sleazy, potentially really sleazy, or really, sort of people that might, just make things uncomfortable, is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So I've seen that too. And that's not great, but it's the reality of that business, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, cool. I think that's good. We covered a decent amount, pretty much talked about everything, personal experience. This time was nice to do it, past dinner time.
Oh, you like this time better? Maybe we could do this again around this time.
I don't know. I feel like I'm more calm at night than I am during the day.
Well, I will say it's been a pain in the butt to get it, like, together the last few times, because just juggling with the kid, it's easier, especially if we don't go above like a half hour, like around the half hour mark. Like, I could commit to this a lot easier on Mondays or Tuesday. I could do Tuesdays actually too. So we'll talk about it next week. And Trevor will be back next week. Trevor will pick another topic from the hat, and we'll talk then. Is there something that you guys want us to talk about? Let us know in the comments. That's all that seltzer is just coming up, man. Seltzer and pizza is just doing it to me.
I get you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Trevor, for another wonderful episode, guys. We'll see you real soon.
What do the kids say? Peace and hair.
Yeah, right. Trevor, this is what the kids say. Peace and hair grease. Hey.